So I thought Tim Tebow would make the perfect sports person right here on the 954sports.com YouTube channel for this week's 954sports.com Sports Person of the Week. I'm going to explain. I'm Matt Levine. I hope you're having a great weekend, enjoying your Saturday wherever you may be, right? And whatever may be your neck of the woods, is summer 2020 is coming to a close. How fast summer goes. Anyway, last week, Tim Tebow turned 33 years old, or 33 years young. And I was doing some reading about him, and I thought, you know what, he'd make a great sports person of the week. Tebow, one of those more intriguing, maybe in a sense polarizing, in an innocent way, figures in the last decade of sports for what he's done on and off the field, as well as his relationship in his faith. And last week on his birthday, he did some really cool things to benefit others. He's one of those guys that I truly believe is a giver and not a taker, and a gentleman, a consummate professional who brings a lot to the table and uses his platform extremely well. So, let's start by just giving you a little reminder of Tim Tebow and what he meant to football, particularly as a college football player. This picture says it all. Soak at Doak. That was the theme for that game because of the rainstorms in 2008 at Doak Walker Stadium on the campus of Florida State University in Tallahassee. Tebow leading the Gators to a big-time win, crushing Florida State on the home turf. Had several great runs and big plays, and got his uniform what looks like bloodied, but actually painted with the maroon of the Florida State University colors and the midfield logo of the Seminole. Tebow was the 2007 Heisman Award winner, had his magnificent season at Florida State, won 2 national championships. One in 2006, and then as a starter. As a starter in 3 years in 2008. Tebow, 6'4", 245 pounds, resembling more of a linebacker than a quarterback. As you see him there on the grid. In that national championship, and that Heisman Championship season, 2007, he accounted for 23 rushing touchdowns, 32 passing, 6 interceptions, rushed for about 900 yards, about 3,300 yards passing. Could do no wrong, became a legend as a Gator. We go on to the NFL, as he was taken 25th overall in the 2010 draft by the Denver Broncos. There was a lot of questions regarding Tebow as a potential starting quarterback and a successful one. Could he sustain a career in the NFL? A funky player, no doubt about that, with the size, the ability to run, but the imprecise ability to pass accurately. There would be a bit of a black cloud, but the Broncos and head coach then, Josh McDaniel, they rolled the dice. 2011, Kyle Orton went down. Tebow stepped in as a starter. McDaniel and company kind of revised the offense to fit Tebow's skills. I'll show you the NFL highlights. And it worked. Tebow had some success. Got the Broncos into the playoffs, where they pulled off an upset win. It was his highlight of his career over the Steelers in overtime in the first round of the playoffs. Got that highlight somewhere. It's going to come up. 2 seasons in the NFL, his record was 8-6, 17 touchdowns, 9 interceptions on the passing, rushed for another 13 touchdowns. He averaged about 5 yards a carry. And had about 1,000 yards rushing in his career. Became a fan favorite in Denver. Hard-nosed, gritty. An old rock'em sock'em, put you on your backside quarterback who would do whatever it took to win. And it's interesting because you see the NFL game, how it's transitioned into the running quarterback now in a variation of ways, right? With Murray in Arizona, Jackson in Baltimore, Watson in Houston, and there's the game winner right there of his famous moment to Demaryius Thomas on the long touchdown pass. Denver would go on to win. And Tebow Mania, as you saw him, Tebowing, and I'll get to that in a moment, was alive and well in Denver. But it was a short-lived career for Tebow in the Mile High City. Would go on to play a season with Rex Ryan, or sit a season, I should say, mostly on the Pine. There he is, trying to supplant Mark Sanchez in his shadow there in the background. Never happened as the starting quarterback. In fact, just never fit in with the Jets. Rex Ryan even tried to make him an up back in special teams formations. Tebow didn't quite take to that. Would try to bounce back in Philly. Not able to make it onto the Eagles roster. Then he flamed out with a final training camp in Foxborough. If you're not good enough for Belichick, well, he ain't good enough for anyone. So he had his final hurrah with the Patriots, as you see him there in the middle. It's Ryan Mallett to the left, right? What happened to Ryan Mallett? I think he went to Houston, then Baltimore. Don't know if he's still around. Do not believe so. Tom Brady, he's still around. Some football to play for him before he heads to Canton. And there was Tebowing, which became alive and well after a win in 2011 against the Dolphins. Tebowing became the practice that he took to pray, have a moment with God. And he's been outspoken in his relationship with God and his faith. And Tebowing became somewhat of a phenomenon. All across the world, everyone was Tebowing. Whether they were celebrating, mocking, or just having fun with it, I always thought it was good-natured. No, this is not the Beatles. Yep. Went all the way around the world, even fathers with their children's Tebowed. Tebow's been asked about the current state, I should say, I'll put it that way, of kneeling in sports. He was asked in 2018. He's kind of coy on the subject. I mean, I think he took the high road. I think he's a class guy. He takes the high road for the right reason, no matter what the guy seems to say. He's just a gentleman. He basically said, to paraphrase, I never kneeled during the national anthem. Basically, I took it as that whenever I kneeled, it wasn't a distraction. And again, it was a way for him to have a moment of prayer. And he also was quoted as saying basically that he respects folks who stand up for what they believe in. But he never quite identified or talked about specifically kneeling in today's game. Post-Tebowing and post-football career, Tebow, yep, went on to a couple different things. That's him with the Mets. Spend his summers, the last 4 of them, until this COVID baseball summer from 16 to 19, in a baseball uniform on the diamond. spend his fall and winters doing some broadcasting for the likes of the SEC network and ABC and ESPN. Great broadcaster. Extremely talented. As for what he's been able to do on the baseball season, well, here's a look. Let that go. It'll re-cue itself here. You'll see the whole at bat as Tebow hits one out of the park. That's definitely a shaky cell phone camera. Someone who's juggling a beer in one hand and a cell phone in the other. Pop. Not a bad swing. From the left-hand side. In his minor league career, Tebow, 18 home runs, 101 RBIs, a Mendoza-like 216 average. His last season, 19, made it to AAA for the Mets. The season before that, he was an all-star in the minor leagues, I believe in AA. But 19, the baseball became more challenging as the level in play rose, right, to AAA. 163 on the average, injury-plagued season, 4 homers, 19 RBI. He is 33, so I'm not sure if his baseball career is done. It may be. We'll see how things shake out and how minor league baseball goes, hopefully, for all those aspiring Utes, as the great Fred Gwynn would say, and my cousin Vinny. Try to resurrect their careers and chase their dreams heading into 2021, which seems like many, 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 many moons away. In addition to the baseball, the broadcasting, Tebow has tried his hand at filmmaking. And apparently has made a pretty decent film, a football flick, that I have not had a chance to watch just yet. He's responsible for working with his brother to produce this film. His brother's name is Robbie, and the film right there, as you can see, Run the Race, which I want to find some time to check out sooner than later. I have not seen a movie in months. Meanwhile, Tebow has also, like I said, never been shy about his relationship with God. And he's been outspoken on that subject. And his faith has led him to a few different causes and work in his own foundation. Let me show you here. This is the, oh, of course I want to show you his website, but a pop-up came up. So this is a Twitter post on his 33rd birthday last year. Now, through the work of his foundation, which you can find at Tim Tebow Foundation.org, on his birthday, he used the platform to announce what's next in his fight against human trafficking with his organization. And he put together, let me show you this tweet before that. This one explains it better. This is Tebow with his wife. And he said, on the 14th, what an amazing 33rd birthday. Thank you for all the wishes. But it wasn't just the wishes that made it a great day. It was so many people joining the mission, the rescue mission we're on, for as many trafficking victims as possible. So he used the platform to promote his foundation's fight against human trafficking. He used his birthday, as a platform to get the message out there and make that his wish. So Tim Tebow continues to be a class act off the field, as well as being a class act on the field. As you watch some more Tebow highlights, I want to also tell you, in addition to what his foundation does on human trafficking and putting an end to that, Tebow also has been extremely involved in working with cancer survivors. His ongoing support for cancer survivors this summer has included a visit and prayer session with Chase Mills, 19 years old. He's fighting Ewing's sarcoma. He surprised 8-year-old Grayson Coleman with a FaceTime call, another cancer victim. And he worked with Hospice Care for All and sent a video message to another young person, Jake Steele. Tebow's done some great things. He has another program. It's called The Night to Shine, sponsored by the Tim Tebow Foundation, which works with more than 720 churches nationwide, 34 countries, 215,000 volunteers. They celebrate over 110,000 what they call kings and queens at A Night to Shine's unforgettable prom night experience centered on God's love for people with special needs. So he puts together an annual prom night for those folks. Those are just a handful of his charitable donations. And again, he uses his own birthday last week to get the good word out there and what he's doing to stop the fight against human trafficking. Tebow, a class act. He's one of the few athletes that I wished a little bit more for on the field, you know? Like in the Madden's game, you can get the players, right, and you can pump up their skills. I wish you could have just added a little bit more on the passing. As I said, a 47% career passer in the NFL. Pump that up by 20%. You might have had one of the all-time great quarterbacks. Just his desire, his will to win, his will to rally his teammates and be a leader. And he's been nothing but class personified, what I'd call a consummate professional off the field. And a lot of people mocked him for trying baseball. Not me. It takes a lot of courage, I think, to try to fulfill a dream and know that you might fail instead of succeed. Especially a guy like him, a Heisman Trophy winner who's had a heck of a lot more success, it sounds like, in life with hard work and determination than he's had failure. Took some guts to go out there on the baseball diamond, try to make that happen. So I tip my cap to him for that as well. So Tim Tebow, you keep up the good work. Happy 33rd birthday. I say this every time I honor one of these 954sports.com sports persons of the week. I know you have a trophy case filled with honors and accomplishments, shelves with placards and trophies. Probably has a whole attic full of it, maybe even a storage room, right? But I know this, until this very moment, Tim Tebow has never won the 954sports.com sports person of the week. Congratulations, Tim Tebow, way to go.